It's good to have you back. Let's bring you this now. The country's coronavirus infections are on the decline, with 578 new COVID-19 cases recorded in the last 24 hours. However, KwaZulu-Natal saw the highest number at 126. Well, there are also concerns about the low number of fully vaccinated people. Let's discuss this now with Professor Koleka Mlisana, the co-chair of the Ministerial Advisory Committee. Prof, thank you for your time and good morning to you. Are there concerns with the numbers that are currently being recorded in KwaZulu-Natal, and what do you think these numbers could be attributed to?
Good morning, Tumelo, and thank you for having me, and good morning to all the viewers. Are there concerns about the numbers? Absolutely not, actually, because the numbers are definitely on the decline. Number of cases are definitely on the decline. In fact, one of the things that we look at is we usually look at whatever tests that have come in on the day, how many have been positive, and then we look at positivity rate. And actually, when we had the peak of the third wave, we were sitting at around 30% positivity rates. But right now, actually, I was just checking yesterday, the positivity rate was 3.8%. And it was 5% the day before. And we want to keep that positivity rate below 5%. So the decline we are comfortable and we're happy with. Remember, I mean, really, if we're looking at 578 cases, you know, we have come from tens and 20s of thousands of cases a day. So there has been a significant decline. There will always be, you know, one of the provinces will have the highest of those numbers. So really, for me, I am not worried at all about 126. What it just means is that we still continue to have community transmission. So we're still getting infections. They are not as much, and therefore that's the only concern, is that, remember, really the best for us is to try and see how we can significantly decline, you know, and decrease, you know, a community transmission. So really we are not, we're actually happy to, you know, insofar as the wave is coming. In fact, I think if not already, we're probably out of the third wave now. So the question then that comes in is, what do we do then between now and the next increase in infections? Because, I mean, we have seen that it is likely to happen, but we don't know how it's going to be, how big the next wave is going to be. If we look at what has happened before and the number of people that have actually been exposed to the virus, you know, for instance, we look at even what we call the seroprevalence studies, how many people have actually been exposed and therefore have developed antibodies. Really, studies range between anything from 40 to 60, sometimes even 70%. So there's a significant amount of people who really have been exposed, which therefore should provide some sort of cover, some sort of immunity. Yeah, so really, you know, if we're looking at what has been happening, but the issue right now is to ensure that, as you say, we get as many arms vaccinated as we possibly can during this period.
And what's the strategy?
And I mean,
yes, continue with your point, Prof.
Sorry, I was just going to say it is concerning, you know, insofar as vaccinations are concerned. Remember, you know, there was a time where the president, initially the then, you know, Minister of Health had said we're aiming at getting to 250,000 vaccinations a day. And the president says, no, I want you to take it to 300. The unfortunate thing is, even though we did reach 250, 260 a few days, we really have not been consistent. And what is worrisome now is that we've even dropped to below 200,000.
Yeah, that is worrisome. And I was just looking at the papers this morning, Prof, in one of the newspapers. I think it was the Herald newspaper, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, we were looking at, you know, the anti-vaxxers in Durban alone protesting that they do not want mandatory vaccinations. They don't want the vaccine passport. They just have an issue with the vaccine. It's actually the Mercury. My team is correcting me at this point. They were mentioning that they don't want, you know, to be given these vaccines, for them to be made mandatory. With the figures that you're looking at, with the numbers that we're looking at looking good right now, and, you know, the strategy now being how do we keep them there or even lower ahead of the anticipated or expected fourth wave, I mean, how are you going to deal with this then? Aren't you concerned? Isn't this a challenge then for your strategy?
No, it is very, very concerning. And I think the point is, obviously, I mean, people are free to choose whatever kind of health they want to access. But the issue is when we then get into this, people who are going out there, especially with facts that are not correct. And I think for me, that is the issue, because the question is, we know that when we're looking at the analysis, that there's actually always about between 11, 15% of people who are always going to say no to vaccinations. But the issue right now is the ones that are saying, I'm not sure, I hear all this noise, and therefore I don't really, tell me what is it that I need to do. But I think that we're going to find events actually overtaking us. People are saying they do not want vaccine certificates. They don't want to be forced. But what is actually going to happen is, you can see right now, we're traveling already, in that there are countries that you just are not going to be able to get to without being vaccinated.
Right.
And you will see that if some other companies as well are going to be saying, well, hang on, if you're working with people, it's important for you to be vaccinated. Therefore, we're going to demand, mandatory. So we will see this happening. And it really is a matter of what is it that people are concerned about.
All right.
Because, and I keep saying this, we've got 6 billion people that are already vaccinated in the world.
One to consider as well there, that point you're making. But thank you so much. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Wish we had more to continue this. But thank you so much, Professor Koleka Mlisana, for joining us.